What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. I have for you today Craigellachie 17-year-old. I believe I didn't butcher that this time, but I probably did, knowing that my Gaelic is absolutely awful. That's natural color, pretty nice straw yellow. It's unchill filtered as well, bottled at 46%. Minimum of 17 years old in age. All right. I've had this bottle for a little bit, and those of you that have watched my channel for a while know that I tend to lean towards sherry aged whiskey. This one is pretty much exclusively, if not exclusively, aged in ex-bourbon oak barrels. That doesn't make me like it that much less, although it's not my favorite. What I will say though is, over the last little while of having this opened, it's improved dramatically from when I first poured it. On the nose, there's a heavy malted farm type note on this one, which is actually kind of pleasant because you don't really get that with a 17-year-old. You usually get that up until about 12 years old, and then that stops. Whereas with this one, at 17 years old, you still get a nice meatiness to it, a nice heavy malted note. There's some nuances of apple. A lot of oatmeal. And a sweet honey note. Before I get to the palate, I want to just point out my shirt real quick. This is the In My Wheelhouse shirt, catchphrase for the Scotch for Dummies. Drew from the Scotch for Dummies sent this to me. Well, I'm sure it was a collective thing, but Drew really wanted one of my hats, which I'm actually not wearing right now. I'm wearing a Toronto Maple Leaf hat. But Drew wanted one of my hats, so we traded. He sent me the shirt. I'm sending him the hat. The hat came in. I'll be sending that out today if I haven't sent it out already by the time you see this. Thanks for the shirt, Drew. Oh, and by the way, there's a big show coming up on the 13th for the Scotch for Dummies. They'll be at a whiskey event, and I'll be jumping on their channel. I know the Scotch Test Dummies will be on their channel as well. Aquavite, he's going to be on there as well. Roy is his name. And these guys have something really, truly incredible planned. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys go check it out, because it's going to be a long day for them, but they plan on shooting a few hours, if not several hours, of whiskey reviews. There's going to be ambassadors on the channel and a whole bunch of other things. So I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Scotch for Dummies, they'll be live. I think it's October 13th. If I'm not, I will correct it in my next video, which will be Monday. All right? But I'm pretty sure it's October 13th, which is a Friday. On the palate. It's sweet, doesn't need any water, a bit of a pepperiness to it. So their claim to fame, this is a Speyside Scotch. There's very little, if any, peat in it. I don't really pick it up. Maybe a touch of smoke, the lightest note of smoke, but I barely pick it up. Their claim to fame, or their claim to being unique, is the fact that they still use old-fashioned worm tubs to cool their spirit. They believe that this bestows extra flavor, creating a dram to rival whiskey's twice its age. I don't know about that. All right. The other thing they do that's very different than other whiskeys is they have their own barley. They grow it, they harvest it, and they grind it up smaller or finer than any other whiskey distillery, and they believe that that's what gives them their unique maltiness, that meaty note to it. I will say that there's a heavy cereal note to this, which I tend to like, and I do like that about this. The only thing that I'm not crazy about on the nose is that heavy farm-like smell that you get out of it. Some people would love that, and I know there's people out there that really look for that in a whiskey, and that's why this particular expression is very popular. Me, on the other hand, I try to stray away from the savory notes unless you're talking like an Octomore that has that smoky sweet barbecue flavor. That's a little bit different in my opinion. Okay, on the palate again. It's got a nice finish. You get a touch of cinnamon, some lemon. It's a good whiskey, okay? So I don't want you guys thinking I don't like this, because I do like it. It's just not what I would seek out when buying a whiskey to drink for every day. For me, I want something a little more towards the sherry side, all right? If I had an 18 to pick, you guys know that Glendronach 18 Allardyce is one of my favorite whiskeys. If I had a chance to review this whiskey, it probably would have gotten an A+. I think I killed this bottle faster than I killed almost any bottle I've ever purchased. So I'm gonna say that for me is an always rebuy, whereas this I probably wouldn't. Okay, and that's not because it's not good whiskey, it's just because it's not in my wheelhouse. I know, that was a bit cheesy. Anyway, that's a B+ for me. That's borderline A-. I think a lot of people would put this closer to an A, so I'm gonna be honest with you and say that it's probably ±5. For me though, I just could never get around to really loving this whiskey. As you can see, I've given it its fair shake. I just couldn't. I don't know what it is. And I know there's gonna be a ton of people that disagree with me, and I would love to hear what you have to say in the chat below. So please comment. But that's a B+ for me. Check out my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Definitely you wanna check out my Snups account. You wanna check out the group that we have going on Snups, which is called Whiskey in the Six. And cool opportunity for me to see what you guys have. Somebody posted today a Lot 40, and I thought that was pretty cool. The Lot 40 cast strength, that's not even out yet, so I was a little jealous about that. So this is your opportunity now to make me jealous. Post what you have that I don't, and I guarantee you'll get a little bit of jealousy out of me. Other than that, you guys can also check me out on Patreon. The hats are going well. If anybody's liking a hat, I personalize them to however you like them color-wise, as far as the color of the hat, the color of the six, and your preference of flex fit or snapbacks. So I encourage you guys to check those out. I believe the Scotch for Dummies, one of them will be rocking one very shortly. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. Cheers, guys.